I'm Jeff Biggs, host of the Cowboys Squad Show. I'm not going to go Jimmy Johnson, but that was a Cowboys comeback.
I'm Iisha Morrison, and I'm lit right now, y'all. I ain't even gonna lie. I'm lit right now. I was acting a fool in my house. So what a big win for the Cowboys. Yeah, let's talk about it.
Glenn Stretch Smith, I've never barked so much at my TV in my entire life.
How about them Cowboys? It's the Cowboys Squad. Everything Dallas Cowboys every week. Covering all the big hits and game-changing plays from America's team the way only the Locked On Podcast Network can. Get ready and squad up. It's the Cowboys Squad Show, starting now.
Well, on the day that Dak Prescott became the Cowboys' all-time leading passer, the Cowboys responded with one of their greatest comebacks ever, at least in recent memory, for sure. I don't know all the other wins, but this one was pretty a true Philly special for the Cowboys, down 21-0. They scored 24 unanswered points to stun the defending Super Bowl champs and win the rematch 24-21. And oh, by the way, the defense made 8 straight stops to end the game. The Eagles were completely shut out in the second half. What a win for the Cowboys, and what a time for us here on the Cowboys Squad Show. I'm Jeff Biggs, joined as always by the one and only Iisha Morrison, that's with 2 eyes, and former Cowboys coach Glenn Stretch Smith. By the way, this episode is brought to you by and sponsored by Prize Picks. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Iisha, take it away.
I'm trying to contain myself because that was a wild game. The sequence of fumbles. I mean, Dallas being at their 2 and not being able to get into the end zone. Obviously, Philly's offense has a capability to be really explosive and then really just be non-existent. And so coming out the half, I really thought that if Dallas could get stops, that they could get in a rhythm. So for me, I think that this is a huge momentum win. We know what Philly's defense is, and the Dallas offense was able to, drive down the field, but the defense is the story of the day. I mean, we've given this defense so much crap, but this last 2 weeks, they've shown improvement. And so I think that's the big story. I bet you coach feels the same. As the offense was good, but the defense is really what kept you in this game when you weren't getting anything done offensively.
Yeah, we wanted and have wanted to see the defense. I said it last week. I want to see them make the next stride. Mm-hmm. I wanted to see them come on and do some things that, quite frankly, I hadn't seen them do. And guess what? They did that. I mean, they got a strip turnover. They got some sacks in critical situations. I'm going to tell you something. They think that, they think the trade that brought the big man in here has really solidified their defense. Let me tell you who it's helped. Osa. Osa is the one that's benefited the most, because guess what? Osa is now getting singled some. You got the 2 big guys playing it against their 3 interior guys. Now all of a sudden we didn't hear anything from Osa early in the year. Guess what? Because they were double teaming him. He was the guy that was getting hammered on. Now he's getting some single situations, and so what a blessing it is. And he's got to be thanking his stars, because guess what? He's the guy that's benefiting the most, and he got there in the most timely and critical fashion of the football game to get the sack and force the punt when the Eagles were moving it right there. Mm-hmm. So that to me. That's the story of a really, really crazy. Here we go again with guys gambling with credit cards and just craziness going on in the football game that I don't care about. I mean, all that analytical stuff. I think it matters in a portion. Let me say it again, a very small portion. But I'm not going to put a lion's share on that, because when you're looking at the game, and now you go back and you say, okay, if you believed your defense was going to take the strides that they were going to take from the first game to the second game, then you should have had enough confidence to punt the damn football on the very first drive. You should have pinned them back on the very first drive.
Yeah.
So I just think there's some things that the Cowboys and the head coach in specific, he needs to rethink how he manages the football game, because his defense is for real.
Oh yeah, I agree. I mean, I think the last couple of weeks, obviously, you go up against the Raiders. A lot of people have a lot of opinions about what that Raiders offense is, and what we know it is too is like, and we know it. But you could have went away from that game and said, okay, these are the improvements that this defense has made, and you could see it on the field today. I mean, you mentioned Osa not being double teamed as much. I think your linebackers have also benefited from Quentin Williams being back. They're doing this still rotation thing with Logan Wilson and Murray. I'm not a huge fan, but Overshown made some key tackles in this game when Philly was trying to, later in this game, where Philly was trying to kind of get in a rhythm. Dallas really struggled to defend the flats today. But when Overshown was out there, there wasn't a lot of guys were tackled where they were supposed to be. And I think that is also, to your point about Osa, I also think the linebackers are benefiting from Quentin Williams being on this field.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, because you don't see guards and centers getting normal second level blocks, because guess what? They're having to take care of the interior line. So, I mean, it's a good point. And they should be making those plays when you're not, when you're unblocked. If you're in a National Football League, you should be making plays. So I agree. They're more productive because the big guys inside are wrecking havoc. And I'm gonna tell you something. I mean, there's about 2 or 3 plays that I point to in this football game, and you go, man, is that what you want to see? That's a very infectious part of what's going on here. And it's starting to happen now that, guys clowning, chasing the crap out of the football to get Hurts pushed out of bounds. I mean, all of that stuff is infectious, even though they didn't score on Clark's big, where he got the crap beat out of him, and he just kept going. And so all of that kind of stuff you want to see be infectious with your football team. And that's how you start to feel better. And all of a sudden, you guys hear me say it all the time, Jeff, on the other show, the needle's either pointing up or it's pointing down. All of a sudden, they kind of fought through it all today to get the needle pointing in the right direction. And that's what you want.
I agree with your point as well. And I don't know, Jeff, if you felt the same way. The head coach made some, again, I'm very careful with how I talk about coaches because I understand that is an element that I have never touched or experienced. So I'm going to go off of what, Coach Smith said. But for me, some of the decision-making in this game from the play caller was insane. Like, some of it was just, I was questioning it. I mean, you throw 3 times on the 2, obviously going forward early in the game. The timeout usage at times, continuing to run on 2nd and 10, and you see that you're not getting positive yardage from it. There was just instances in this game where I thought that Brian Schottenheimer had some issues. Now, one thing that I do want to bring up, though, is that this is one of the games that's played. We talked about this last week, gentlemen. What is it, 4 games in 12 days? I feel like, so I feel like you can't, from my understanding, it's harder to prepare for all of those teams at one time. You have to kind of roll in some of your plan into the next game. And so I think it took Dallas a while offensively to understand, to play Philly, if that makes sense, to play Philly with their additions and their stuff. I wonder if that has any, bearing, but that's just my thoughts. I think that the game plan did not seem tailored in the beginning of the game to a Philadelphia defense. Does it make sense on the offensive side of the ball?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of putting the smallest young man on your football team at running back. I wasn't a fan when you put CeeDee Lamb at running back and got him hurt. I get it. There's some things that you want to do to get those guys the football on the perimeter. But, Philadelphia is a big, rough ass tough front. I'm not sure I want to be running. And this is nothing against Cavante. I'm not sure I want to be running him in between the tackles. So I'm not. The one thing you won't hear me do ever is a question play calling, because I think it's the toughest, and it's the toughest thing to do in time. It's the easiest thing to do post time. But what I am going to question is the fact that game management, how you manage the football game, the fact that they didn't challenge. I think it is challengeable on that first block punt. I mean, that should have been
huge.
That should have been challenged. Right. That should have been challenged in that situation, just like they should have punted the football to start the football game. And in the last drive, when your star receiver is questioning, you should have kicked the field goal to go up 3 and show that you have confidence in your defense. That means you're the leader of the football team. Go show that you have. Go put it on your defense. Kick the field goal right there and say, "Man, it's on you." Now it's on you. We didn't get it done offensively, and now and challenge guys. That I thought that's what he was doing. It was always wanting to be in a competitive situation. Well, it's non-competitive when you. I mean, it's just again recklessly gambling. I don't like that part of managing the football game.
I mean, the miss on that tipped punt by Ryan Flanoy was huge, and even the announcers didn't see it at first. And so I understand that officials make mistakes. Maybe they don't see everything all the time. There's people upstairs for that.
That's right. Cowboys. They get paid to do that.
So you can't miss something like that, because that was a momentum swinging play. I could be wrong.
He told you he touched it, right?
Yeah, he did. He said he did
come off the field and say, "Hey,
he came off the field saying I touched it."
Well, that's what I'm saying. You got to have the confidence in your player to listen to him. And I get it. They said they couldn't see I don't mean to interrupt you, but they said they couldn't see. They didn't see the replay. Sometimes it doesn't happen quick like that. Well, now you got to shift gears, and you got to have confidence in your player.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I had to sneeze. But I would say I'm not. I don't know if I'm correct. I got to go check that. I saw someone tweet that Brian Schottenheimer has not challenged a play all year, and if I'm searching my brain, trying to remember if he has indeed not challenged anything all year. I mean, I'm gonna go dig right now, but that would be crazy. Now, not saying that there just has been a lot of challengeable plays, but that's something we see in the NFL. It's something that we see, coaches, sometimes they'll do it and be confident. And even if we all are seeing it's not right, but it shows confidence in your team at times and what they're doing. So I was really upset, y'all. I was really upset by some of the decision making today, and they were able to overcome it, but that's stuff that just can't continue. What you got, Jeff?
Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, what a wild, just incredible game. I mean, it was a marathon from the Philly first half to everything that went down in the second half. And coach said he was yelling at his TV, as was I. And maybe, and you too, maybe I'm not going to question the play caller, but I think you can question some of the plays that were called and some of the execution. And to your point, Iisha, my big thing was you get the fumble from Barkley, his first of the season, then you get the punt fumble. After both of those, you have to score. When you're that close, you have to score. I mean, they to your point, they were fortunate that the defense bailed them out, got the ball back, and they were able to kick the winning field goal. But I'm sorry, I'm not being Captain Obvious here, but you have to come up with a better play design that you have. Like, this is our go-to play. We're going to score no matter what. Like it just Dak running backwards is just not acceptable. And I hope it's something that they'll learn and grow from. But I mean, that could, if it would have played out where they didn't score and the Eagles came down, which, they're as challenged as they've been offensively, they were 8-2, and they still find ways to grind out wins and win and get points when they had to. They didn't today, and that's just a huge testament to the Cowboys defense. But then aside from that, I mean, the Cowboys offense, they got to do better. That can't happen.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
have some
what I'm going to tell you too is the second half, where the first half it wasn't going their way. The second half, Dallas was knocking the shit out of them.
They were
Yeah.
very physical. They were
Yeah.
very physical.
I'm
Yeah.
too old to sit here and say, boo boo or what. They knocked their ass off.
Yeah, they did.
That's what, to me, that's what I'm talking about now. I mean, the players are bought in, and the head coach has got the one thing he's got to do from a head coaching standpoint, and you have to hope that he learns from this because this is his first time as being a head coach. You got to have your finger on the pulse of your football team. You have to know the pulse of your team and learn from the pulse of your football team.
Yep.
No, I agree. I felt like you said, I mean, offensively, now Philly got some guys too. So that's going to show up. Guys are going to make plays on their end, but a lot of Dallas's issues were execution. It was pre-snap penalties and holds in the red zone, which they've had issues with, false starts in the red zone, things like that. I mean,
CD drops.
7 drops from CD Lamb today. Inexcusable. I know that he made the big play, the big 50-yarder down the field. It was huge in that moment in the game. Love it, appreciate it. But his lack of focus almost hurts you again in this game. And so for me, I'm glad that they pulled out the win. They figured some things out. And I agree with you, Coach. At the beginning of that game, I thought that Dallas's offensive line was getting beat off the line of scrimmage. I thought that physically Philly was really giving them trouble. They were really putting a dent in the front of that interior of the Dallas offensive line. And I felt like Dak was a little bit rushed. Obviously, they weren't getting much out of the run game. But I did like that Brian Schottenheimer stuck to it. Even though they were down in this game, they continued to run the ball. And when you start getting into that fourth quarter, to your point, Coach, you can see that those Javonte Williams runs were getting a little bit longer.
Yep.
Guys did not want to tackle. As a matter of fact, they had guys going on the sidelines, huffing, puffing. Oh, my arm. I need you to check. Like, to your point, Coach, they started out physically them about midway through the third. And that's when I really thought Dallas had a chance to win this game. When I started seeing those guys on that other side kind of seemed like they were a little unsure, I was like, okay, Dallas needs to take advantage right now and jump on them and really take it to them and take this game.
Yeah, and I mean, the questionable calls in the first half, that's where you have to understand, hey, the football gods will even it out. And you know what? They did even it out because there were some questionable calls in the second half, I thought, on the other side. I did believe, though, defensively, and how we started this segment, defensively, they put their stamp on the fact that, you know what, we're a different defense. Okay, you guys can, Iisha, you talked about it, and everybody has. Hey, the Raiders are not very good. I think got beat by the Browns today. Hey, at the end of the day, you can say, okay, we beat the worst team, and now we've arguably gone out and beat the best team in the National Football League.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, I mean, and defending the run today, I mean, only allowing Saquon to have 10 carries for 22 yards, only average about 2 yards a carry. I mean, that's nothing to snuff at. Like you said, it was all hats to the ball. The defense, to me, set the tone. I thought the defense set the tone. Despite the fact that the offense was reeling, the defense kept that score 21-0, truly, through this game. And so
8 straight stops. I mean, that's incredible. 8 straight. Yeah. That's unbelievable.
Yeah. No, I mean, I agree. I felt like, obviously the linebacker play was bad. I've been saying for the last couple of weeks that I do like the edges that you have. Donovan Izaraku, sound against the run. Obviously, Jadeveon Clowney, Coach, you mentioned it, I don't know, maybe 3-4 weeks ago, that you could tell on film that Jadeveon Clowney was starting to get his legs under him. You were seeing that he was conditioned for the game, and you've seen him show up in the run efficiently. This and Dallas, I thought that Dallas, even though Philly isn't doing the RPO game as much, they played it pretty well today. Jalen Hurts killed them on the ground in game 1. They gave up about 3 first downs to Jalen Hurts with his legs. I thought that they handled contained pretty well in this game. And so to your point, Coach, they're just playing more disciplined, sound football. They look like a unit that's starting to get what's being asked of them. And I thought that this was probably their best outing of the season.
Oh, no doubt. Absolutely. 100%. I mean, that was awesome for, like you said, for all the criticism that we've handed out, big time praise for their effort today. That was tremendous. They were awesome. All right. We're going to take our first time out. When we come back, got to talk about the offense a little bit. Big day for Dak, and man, George Pickens is just an absolute beast. We'll get into that. Cowboys beat the Eagles. This is the Cowboys Squad Show. All right, I want to talk to you about Prize Picks and what they have going on, because it is that time of the year. And with Prize Picks, with the NBA going and everything else, this episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. You and I make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. So don't miss any of the excitement of this sports season, whether you're following the NFL, NBA, or both. There's no better time to jump in on the action. Now, if you haven't tried it yet, Prize Picks is the simplest way to play. You just pick more or less on at least two players' stats, and if you get them right, you win. It takes less than 60 seconds to make your lineup, and you can play anywhere Prize Picks operates, including California, Texas, and Georgia. So, and the other thing cool, they got a couple things. They have this new stacks feature that's a real game changer. You can now pick more on Steph's points, threes, and assists in the same lineup. And let's say one of your players leaves early with an injury, the injury reboot saves your lineup from a loss. So right now, download the Prize Picks app today, use code LOCKEDONNFL, and get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONNFL for $50 in lineups after your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it is good to be right. All right, we're back. Cowboys Squad Show. Cowboys come back from 21-0 down and beat the Eagles to get this win today. 24-21, the final score. I'm trying to get back to this.
You got a big old Kool-Aid grin on. You look like you're in the first car of the runaway mine train yucking it up.
Hey, you know what?
I'm happy. Hey, we can be political. I don't like Philly. I mean, listen, we can do the analyst talk and all that stuff. I don't like Philly. I am happy to see them go down. All right.
I'm going to go ahead and tell you this. Of all the places I've been and it is without, I'm not going to say it.
No, you can't say it. I can.
I mean, the thought of flying over that Schuylkill River and going into that airport's enough to just make you crazy.
Listen, I hope all them Philly fans that was in there yelling all loud, because that was another thing, gentlemen.
Yeah.
I know it's a lot of Philly fans in Dallas. It was loud in there. And there was points at time where Dallas was on the field, and I said, I think the home game. What's going on right now? I wonder if they had to change up their cadence. I wonder if they even had to go to any silent counts at any point. It was that loud in there when Philly was playing well. So for me, I don't care. I hope they all, with their green jerseys, walked out all sad and went back to wherever they came from.
Iisha, you're too nice and sweet to be throwing bad vibes on folks.
Y'all don't know me. Hey, y'all don't know me. I was in the military for 8 years. You think I'm nice?
I don't know you, but I know what you're on this show. I know you that rough side. We don't want that rough side.
Not when it comes to Philly. Not when it comes to Philly. What you got, Jeff?
Hey, I'll tell you what. I mean, objectively speaking, I mean, think about it the other way. Think about it if you're the Eagles. I mean, you're up 21-0, and the Dallas Cowboys defense stopped you 8 straight times, and you didn't score at all in the second half. I mean, that's I'll tell you. I mean, like I'm not trying to to overhype it, but I mean, this team coming in was 8-2 before this loss today. And as the defending champs, I mean, they would find ways to win, even though their offense has been criticized and hasn't been clicking like it was a year ago. They still, as the defending champs, would step up when they needed to and score when they needed to win. And they didn't do that today. I mean, the Cowboys ripped their heart out. The Cowboys came back not only from 21-0, but they came back and they beat them.
Yeah.
And that's impressive for this
yeah,
group and all that they've been through.
Oh, go. Sorry, Jeff.
Well, that's all. I'm happy for that. You know, I appreciate hard work and dedication and attention to details and heart and passion, and to see all those play out and for them to come back and win today, they deserve the praise.
Yeah.
Very
I'm gonna turn on Philly radio this week and listen to it so I can go to sleep.
And
I'm sure they are really stressed out over there. But no, I agree. That was something coming into this game, and like I said, coming into the half. One thing about Philly's offense, and they have been like this for years now, is that they can be very sporadic before and after the half. The numbers were stifling, even in the years that they've gone to championships, is that they'll lay it on thick and then they'll take a quarter off, or they'll lay it on thick, or they'll come out heavy and then they won't score anymore. And so that was something that I thought could come into play for Dallas in this game, is that this offense for Philly has situations where they fall asleep at the wheel. How was Dallas going to take advantage of it? And they were able to today. So, I mean, Jeff, to your point, I'm sure that they are struggling over there. I'm sure that they're trying to find some answers. AJ Brown came out, had a hot start. We didn't see him at all for the rest of the game, for real. So again, you know, I'm sure they're looking for answers, and maybe they're walking away from this game, to your point, Jeff, saying, you know, maybe they underestimated the Dallas defense. Maybe there were some things that Dallas showed them that they didn't see on film yet. You know, this unit has had a lot of new pieces fall into it in the last 2 weeks. So you have to consider that maybe for an offense that they're seeing faces they haven't seen. They're seeing faces that they haven't seen in years at this point, new faces. And it wasn't really anything that I didn't see on film. Landon Dickerson struggled one-on-one with Oso Odigizua, to Coach's point. The interior of that offensive line had its time. So, oh well.
And I mean, and again, I get it. I mean, Lane Johnson was out with a list.
Huge.
You know what? Dallas, those are things you can't control. And it was just, to me, it was very refreshing to see a defense that looks like they are truly, they've got it. There's a different vibe. There's a different energy with what's going on. I mean, even,
100%.
you saw Eberflus get wound up on the sidelines. I mean, all of those things are good. And I think there's I think there could be something brewing, and you want to see it. I'll say it right now. It needs to carry over to Thursday. This win needs to carry over to Thursday.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean,
especially how they played on the defensive side.
Yeah. Well, and to your point, I mean, let's not sugarcoat it. You guys brought it up at the beginning, but I mean, they lose this game. If they lose this game, the Cowboys, I mean, it's over. I mean, OVER. And if they would have lost today, they would have been 4-6-1. We'd be nitpicking a bunch of different things from this game, but defense stepped up, set the tone, like you said, and they found a way to get the win. And now it's about building on, like you said, building on this, keep the momentum going, and fight. And, you know, for this offense that, I mean, George Pickens, I mean, every week, the guy, he was already good at the start of the season, but I mean, every week, he's like a man amongst boys. I mean, it's incredible. And I don't think we've even seen him really go off. I mean, he's had big games, but we haven't seen him like completely take over a game, which I think he could if they wanted to set him up for that.
Yeah, awesome game from him. Yeah, awesome game from him. They threw the ball to him 9 times today. He caught them all.
Yeah.
On the inverse, we saw the other side of it today. But I mean, the man averaged like 16 yards a catch today. 146 yards on the day. He's just, I think he's a matchup nightmare because he's unpredictable. He's very unpredictable. You'll even catch him on film sometimes where, kind of that idea that he kind of can get a little lackadaisical at times. And I know you've seen it, Coach, on film. I think it catches DBs off, I catches them when he just turns it on. Because there's times that you'll be watching him throughout the film and you see him kind of jog and see him kind of jarring, but then when he's like, hey, no, I'm going to go beat you, I think his feet are faster than what people think. He's very good out of his releases, obviously the strong hands and concentration. And he's just been a really reliable player for Dak Prescott. I think that their connection is huge. And I tweeted out, just to pay him whatever he wants. And I might throw in a couple dollars. Y'all got a couple dollars?
Yeah.
Coach, you got about $3 so we can, send it to the Cowboys for George Pickens.
My question is the way that George Pickens
here you go.
playing, is that moving the other guy in the different direction? I don't know, but I'm going to ask it because I do think that his CD's sideline language I don't like. I don't like his body language. There's something about it, and I don't give a whiskey crap if he goes in there tomorrow and talks about catching 1,500 balls out of the jugs machine. That doesn't mean anything to me. What I want to see is I want to see him embrace the fact that he's got somebody to take the pressure off of him, and it doesn't feel like he's embracing that. It does not.
Yeah, there was something coming into this season, that everybody was kind of worried about. And what I thought, they are actually friends. Like, they're friends. Like, when they got in trouble last week,
they were together.
It was together. So I thought that their friendship would help with some of those emotions. Maybe you have a big game, I don't have a big game, all that stuff. But now, just looking at CD, and to your point, I wonder if, him not being involved the same way is impeding on kind of what they want to do. I am a bit concerned because I agree with you, Coach. I felt like CD's body language was kind of weird. He had a bit of an attitude on the sidelines and stuff. The body language in the game where he has these drops and he's just kind of throwing up his arms and stuff like that. And again, you see the other guy on the other side not dropping anything, so I would hope that, like you said, Coach, that CD having Pickens would kind of amplify his play. But today, it just felt like, he wasn't as focused as you would think he would be in a big game like this. And this happened last time against Philly as well.
Yeah, and I thought, I'm going to give a lot of credit to this offensive line. I mean, I thought this offensive line now is starting to gel a little bit together too. Now they had to put Nate in the game late in the game, or I guess it was. I'm going to look. I'm trying to find it.
It was. I think it might have been going
in the third quarter, mid and third quarter, right there. Mm-hmm. And he got beat a time or two, but I mean Javonte was right there to help him clean it up a couple times, and so Javonte Williams to me is a complete football player. We talk about George Pickens being a complete football player. Javonte Williams is a complete football player. I love how physical he is. And I know there were a couple of times where you said, well, he got knocked back into the quarterback. Let me tell you something. That linebacker's outweighing him probably 35 pounds.
He's going
to get knocked back in there. Yeah. But it was an attitude that he went in there with to stick his face in there. And to me, that those are the kind of things, again, you're looking for the infectious moments in your football team. You're looking for things to highlight. You're looking for tomorrow when you go into the meeting, and I don't know how much of the film they'll watch because you got to turn the page and go right now to Kansas City. But I'd be pulling out 4, 5, or 6 plays, and 1 or 2 of them would be Javonte and what he did. I think that's the other thing that I got frustrated with was after they fumbled that punt, they got it inside the 7 or 8 right there, and they ran it with Javonte to the 1, And I'm like, feed him again right there.
Right.
And instead they run the boot out the back door. And I'm like, oh, God. And then they threw it on third. And then they did. And it's like, and then you can't, about the time you thought they played the ace of spades in this game, hell, they played it again going for it on fourth down. You're like, oh, I mean, I'm telling you, I don't ever bark at the TV because there ain't nobody listening. Nobody can hear it. And then, my son was gone. So thank God he wasn't here because I said some words that make a sailor blush. But you just can't continue to just trump dumb decisions. But I'm getting off of what I'm saying, and the point I'm making is that you should have fed Javonte, and you had an opportunity right there to flat ass impose your will from the 2-yard line. I can tell you what, Philadelphia would have done it from the 2, and so can every other sterno bum in Fort Worth. They've told you they were going to run the tush push. You know what? You weren't going to stop it. You gotta have a little bit of that mindset too.
I agree, and to that point, to your point, Coach, they had the run game had started opening up, especially on the interior. Like some of those interior runs by Javonte, those guys were getting slower. Like you were seeing, it was a safety having to tackle him. That linebacker was getting washed out a little bit. Like they barely getting him by his ankles. So I was surprised. But to your point about Javonte Williams, he's been awesome. He's been fantastic, especially with little relief. Dallas hasn't really, we saw Malik Davis come in and have a couple explosive plays, but Dallas hasn't really been able to establish a number 2 running back. And so for him to be still running the ball this efficiently at this point in the season, I think is a testament to how he takes care of his body, how he recovers, how seriously he takes treatment, things like that, and him just being a tough dude. To your point about the pass protection, that's something that Dallas, I think, has lacked. And if you look at some of those big plays by Dak in the fourth quarter, Javonte was the reason why he was able to get those passes off, so
right. That's right.
I agree. I thought that the run game, like we talked about, and Coach mentioned that this offensive line was able to start really moving those guys off the ball more as the game went on. And then you talk about, toughness. I thought that Jake Ferguson had a good game as well. It wasn't pretty all the time. Obviously, he had the fumble that was lost out of bounds that made us all stressed out. But he made some big catches in this game, especially in the third and fourth quarter. And I felt like the effort from the tight ends also, too, on the blocking game. Brevin Spanford with his first touchdown today. Yeah. He finally gets rewarded for doing so much dirty work. He is ranked as the #1 blocking tight end in the NFL right now, and it shows. So I thought your tight ends did some good things in spots that helped out your offense, and also, too, they helped out in the run game as well.
Yeah, all right. Spanford's a heck of a player, too, and on the special team. So it's good to see him get a touchdown catch. We're going to take another break here.
Yes, we are. Right now. Not now, but right now. Right, got to give it up to Game Time because the NFL season is back, and honestly, there's nothing better than being in the stadium surrounded by fans cheering on your team. Hope you were at the game today. But let's be honest, getting tickets can be kind of a hassle between queues and login screens and prices jumping at checkout. It can get really, really frustrating. That's why Game Time is the app that gives the advantage back to you, the fans. Game Time is fast, easy, and backed by the Game Time guarantee, where you'll always get 100% authentic tickets delivered on time and at the best price. Plus, all fees are included, so the price you see is the price you pay. And if you pull up Game Time in just a couple of taps, you will see amazing deals. I'm talking about your favorite NFL games as low as $100. It's faster, cheaper, and less stressful than any other way to buy tickets. So download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, that's promo code Locked On NFL, LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download Game Time today. All right, we're back. The Cowboys Squad Show with former Cowboys coach Glenn Stretch Smith and Iisha Morrison with 2 eyes. And she'll be doing her Cowboys show tomorrow morning. little plug for that. Look forward to that. Real quickly before we keep going, I mentioned this in the open. Dak Prescott today became the Cowboys' all-time leading passer with passing yards. What is it? I mean, I know there's more passing in the NFL now than there was back in the day, but still, to be the Cowboys' all-time leading passer, that's still a pretty big deal. What do you guys think about that, and where Dak is at?
Played a hell of a game today. We talking about the offense you talking about the team coming back. I mean, the defense held in there, but the quarterback did too. That Philly defense is not nothing to snuff at, and he stood in there, made some big throws under pressure. Obviously, got the run, the touchdown run where he somersaulted and let old school Dak there. I thought that his poise kind of went throughout the offense today, but also too. I mean, you guys were just talking about Pickens. They're locked in. They're locked into each other, and that came up big in this game. But as far as Dak and his accomplishments, he's been a good quarterback for a good amount of time, and I'm glad that everybody else is starting to get to see it a little bit more. That's my thoughts on it.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's efficient in a lot of ways. That he does some things at times that I don't like. I think he presses at times, and it frustrates me. But I do think that as you see in the last, probably since the Mike McCarthy era, I mean, I do think he's grown as an NFL quarterback. And you say, well, he got pushed into service really early, and he did. And I thought he kind of went through a little bit of almost a stagnant time right there when he was with Jason Garrett and they were doing some things. He would do some things that would just really puzzle you when you were trying to look at him on film. But I've seen a quarterback that's continued to take strides, and I think that if he will continue to do that, I think that's a good thing. Here's the other thing for me, and I don't go out there. I don't want to. I want to see from afar, and I want my eyes to judge. I mean, I think with Micah being gone now, he is the leader of this football team. He is the sole leader of this football team, and it looks to me like he's embracing that role.
I don't know if he ever stopped being, the leader of because as somebody that is physically here, I'm not sure that there was ever like a real belief that Michael Parsons was the leader of this team. To me, it's always been Dak Prescott. But to your point, with him out of the room, then it really just, puts Dak back into that forefront. But one thing I will say about Dak Prescott is that for all the people that think that quarterbacks can't develop, this is a fourth round quarterback that has been through multiple regimes, multiple coaches, multiple things, and he has done nothing but develop into, to your point, Coach, an efficient, good quarterback that can get it done for you in the game. So I think him and Shotty together has been pretty good. They have their moments. But I'm happy with the quarterback play, despite some of the weird fluky stuff that happened today too. There was a fluky stuff. To Coach's point, there's times where you look at Dak and you just like, well, you didn't have to force that in there. That wasn't necessary. Some of the decisions sometimes, but all in all, I thought he put together a good game, and he really had to rally those guys to get them to this win.
I think it feels like too that he's minimized those times where it feels like he gets a brain fart. I mean, like it's minimized.
Yeah, no, I agree. He does have brain fart moments where you're just like, hey, now why would you do that? That wasn't even necessary. No, seriously. And I think he does have times where he's just like, F it. And he just throws the ball up. And I agree with you, Coach. I think he has minimized those things in this Brian Schottenheimer offense.
Yeah. And to your both of your points, you kind of get the feeling as we look ahead for the Thanksgiving matchup for Week 13, and that is this offense is still developing. I mean, we've seen all kinds of glimpses of different phases, but doesn't feel to me like they've still quite hit their stride, that there's still going to be room for growth. I mean, to Coach's point, I think Javonte, he can literally, it seems like every time he touches the ball, he gets at least 5 yards for the most part. So they could use that club. You see the chemistry with Pickens. I know they're going to want to try to get CD right and help him with his confidence, but you got the tight ends. I mean, and Dak, what he does just by himself, whether he's running or whatever he's doing to keep the offense moving, but doesn't feel like they've hit their peak. And so this next stretch of games, with the defense kind of finding their identity and with the star potential with this offense, curious to see if they're going to be able to come together as a team and get better to finish the season, make a playoff run.
Do you feel like that, Coach? You feel like they haven't put it all together yet?
Well, I mean, I think there are some guys there are more than a handful of guys that are trending to getting better. We talked about Span Ford. We talked about Booker. I continue to talk about Smith inside, BB. I think those guys, I think Javonte is a true, what I would consider, he is a true blue collar back. I mean, he is a tough back. I wish that Blue would embrace his role a little more, but I'm not sure, because they need that guy that can hit the home run. They need that guy that can, hit it in there for 40. But I do like offensively. I like where this group feels like they're able to respond to adversity. You can't get much more adverse than being down 20-0, him throwing a really bad interception.
Yeah, in the end zone.
Doing some things that you just, they have the penalty down there, and you're just like, golly. But he was able to, they're able to overcome that. And so that tells me from a maturation standpoint that he has other guys on the offense buying into what he believes.
Yeah, I like that. Well, it's going to be interesting to see how they handle Thursday. And then, this is it. This is the time of the season. This is winning time, as Magic used to say. This is the time to step up. And if they would have lost, season would have been over. But now, they're still in it without a doubt. They're absolutely in it with who they have ahead of them to play. And the fact that they've won 2 in a row, the fact that we've seen their defense improve the way that they have, it's pretty cool. It's nice to see as the season is going on.
Yeah, and most people say this is the time. Again, we know Dallas didn't do themselves any favors with some of the losses earlier this season. But this is what people talk about, is getting hot towards the end of the season, getting guys back, getting healthy. This is a gauntlet of games, not only because of the opponents, but also the timing, the recovery, the schedule, all those things. They're about to face another Chiefs team, another team that, despite not being the same team, knows how to pull out wins. And so they got to prepare for that pedigree coming in here, that has the ability to really turn it on when they need to, despite the fact that they haven't looked how they have looked, in the Super Bowl and other years past.
Yeah, they had a gritty comeback of their own today against
the Colts. And that Colts team is a good team. So it's like, when you want to count those guys out, you can't. But I know Dallas has some confidence going into this game. It helps that they're at home, so they ain't got to travel. Obviously, KC has to come here. So hopefully, Dallas can come out and replicate some of the stuff that they did against Philly.
Yeah, well said. All right, let's take our final timeout. When we come back, our final segment, we will wrap things up. But what a comeback for the Cowboys, down 21-0. They come back and beat the defending Super Bowl champion Eagles. They win round 2, 24-21. This is the Cowboys Squad Show. That's it. Short and sweet. Welcome back to the Cowboys Squad Show with Iisha Morrison and former Cowboys coach Glenn Stretch Smith. 24-21, the final as they came back and beat the Eagles today. What a win. Just what a game, what a ride. And just to see the defense, I can't get, I mean, stopping this Eagles team 8 straight times. I mean, that's impressive. I don't know if that's happened. I don't know what their longest stretch in between possessions, but it's good.
Why are you laughing?
That's Jeff's favorite stat in the history.
Yeah,
I think he's so hey, you know what? It's something we haven't seen. So
no.
I'm laughing because it's like, we haven't seen that. And I think it's about the 7th time you've mentioned it. So I think you ought to mention it one more time so we can get it in here for 8, Jeff.
I'll do it before we end. I'll do it.
No, I mean, we've seen this defense all season. So I get what you saying, Jeff. You trying to take it in. You saying it to yourself so you can make sure it's real. Like, I get it. No, I mean, I understand. And again, like, this is a Philly offense that has struggled. They struggled the last couple weeks to put up points. But they were going up against some really good defenses. Like, that's another thing too, is when you start looking into Philly struggling offensively, especially this last 3 weeks of football, I was starting to look. I was like, well, why are they struggling? They've also gone up against really good defenses, and Dallas looked like one of those defenses today. They really took advantage of that Philly offensive line, and also too, I thought that the cornerback play was better. Again, they gave up some plays early, but they really hung in there, and I thought they settled down. But to your point earlier about Osa, quick pressures. Dallas hasn't gotten a lot of quick pressures. So to see Osa get off the line so quickly was good to see, them getting some more quick pressures, because I think their numbers are pretty low this year on those.
Yeah, okay. And I mean, you want to see guys whip guys up front. I do like that they're playing. I mean, Ezraku, there are times, boy, they stone him. I mean, where he not, but he keeps coming back.
Mm-hmm.
And he keeps playing, and all that. That experience is going to be good. I think the other thing that really frustrated me was there, and I got to give Eberflus a lot of credit here. I mean, he called the blitz a couple of times, and Stewart was right there one time to make a play. And I mean, it was like, I think he shut his eyes when he got in there. He's like, how could you not? It was the perfect call at the perfect time, and Hurts spits it up in there for 7 to convert for a first down.
Yeah,
so you got to give Eberflus credit. I mean, I think he's almost. He looks like and I'm glad to see he's wearing a hat again, because I can tell he's graying like crazy. But he's a little out of his comfort zone, but he is he's making some calls, and so good for him for doing just that, and continue to make those calls. And that comes with confidence from having what's on the back end. Here's the other thing that I really liked today was that when you're starting to see guys in the secondary play with better leverage. Now, one time Ravel, they caught the hitch on him.
Bad angle.
And you'd like to see him go take the correct angle. He took a crappy angle, and then I think it was Brown spun out of it for about another 11. Okay, the only way you're going to get better at that is playing the game, not practicing, not any of that. You got to get in the game. So good for them for leaving him in there. Kyrie Elam is not on the team anymore. I think they cut him midweek. So Carson is or Kalen is the other. You just want to see those guys continue to play, because that's how they're going to get better.
Yeah, and Carson was having some issues. I know he had a couple of strong tackles at the line of scrimmage or behind the line of scrimmage in the flat today, but he was having trouble. Sounds like he was having some cramps. He went out, got an IV. Saw him kind of in and out of the game a couple of times. I was concerned. I thought it was something more serious, but he just needed some hydration. But to your point, Coach, yeah, I mean, I thought the lineup they came out there with Savon Ravel and Ravel and Kalen Carson and Deron Bland in the slot probably is your best lineup right now. And for the most part, those guys held their own. Again, AJ Brown went off earlier in that game, but we didn't hear nothing about him for the majority of the rest of the game. Devontae Smith had that amazing adjustment to the ball on Kalen Carson, but a relatively quiet day for him as well. Dallas Goddard had a pretty quiet day today. This defense is improving now. Coach, are they ever going to defend the flats better?
Well, I saw one or two times where Overshown was out there to make a play.
Yeah,
I get it. That it gets frustrating to see them throw the swing for 12 yards, throw the swing for 15 yards. Yes, I think those are things that they need to continue to clean up. I think that gets cleaned up the more that you put your speed in the game, which is as Overshown gets more of a workload, that they'll be better at defending, where they just toss it out there for Barkley for, like I said, 12 to 15 yards. And it's frustrating to watch it. It is frustrating to watch it for sure as a fan, and it's frustrating as a coach. But I do like that even on the touchdown that he threw, I believe it was to Brown on that skinny post where the safety rotated down. Hey, at least Bland played with better leverage. Now he's got to shut that cushion down a little more and stay on it where he doesn't, give the immediate access. But those things have changed as the season has gone on, as far as guys just getting immediate access to the middle of the defense.
Yeah, that's something I definitely want to see improve. I feel like Dallas just gives up a little bit too much yardage in that soft part of the field. And to your point, Coach, I just hope that the linebackers are able to play it better, because it's not just Philly. This is something that we've seen all season. And a team like Kansas City that relies heavily on swings, on screens, and things like that, trying to get Rashee Rice out in space. This is something that, we can see in this upcoming week. Hopefully, the linebackers come up and tackle.
Right. You're gonna have to get it cranked up offensively, because I got news for you. I mean, they're going to come in here and they're going to score. I mean, that's going to happen. I mean, you're not going to shut them out. You got to hope that you can, pressure Mahomes some, and you can, see if you can get one or two critical stops, that's what they needed in this football game. They finally got it with that big sack from Osa. Hey, now hopefully, we won't have the mad gambler Thursday just doing kind of crazy stuff when they've got the football. But we'll see.
You talking about Mahomes?
Yeah.
He is crazy. He be doing stuff, and I'll be sitting there like, he can't keep getting away with this. How is he doing this right now?
Yeah.
Well, I guess the good thing is, hey, I mean, the Cowboys had to play, an emotional, hard-fought game today, but the Chiefs did also. So both teams are going to be playing it, on short rest. So that should make it interesting.
Yeah. Like I said, Dallas has a tiny bit of an advantage not having to travel.
Yeah.
Shout out to Brandon Aubrey too. Had the missed field goal earlier in the game. Obviously, made the field goal to win the game. Yeah. And special teams was important today. Even on a base level, Philly's punter was nails today. I mean, he pinned Dallas inside their 10 multiple times today, and Dallas had to drive the length of the field, which, again, if Vic Fangio's defense is counting on you making a mistake, I thought that special teams on both sides of the ball came up huge today. And I think it's just an element that kind of gets looked over, but it's too important to not to look at.
Props to Elijah Clark for getting that fumble.
Huge.
That was
him and Marquise Bell.
Yep.
Yeah. And
Beautiful.
Trent Sieg, the long snapper on the recovery.
With the long hair. All right. Well, this has been a action-packed, fast episode. It's always a little better after a win, but hey, they deserve it. They deserve the praise. Again, from where this team started to what we saw today, nobody can deny that's progress, and hopefully they're on the right track. We'll see what happens Thursday, but a big win today.
I know it's gonna be a good week. Hey, y'all think I'm playing about turning on Philly radio? I'm going to right now.
All right.
Right now.
All right. Real quick plug for your show tomorrow morning.
Yes, catch me on Girls Talk, Boys Talk at 8 a.m. Central Time. Me and the girls are gonna be talking about this game, breaking it down. Come see me.
All right. And don't forget Marcus and Landon with the daily Locked On Cowboys podcast. They will have a ton to say. And Coach, we'll be back doing our midweek episode on Tuesday night. So we'll look forward to that. But we'll look forward to seeing you tonight on TV in the Dallas area.
See you guys. Have a great weekend. Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, you as well.
Yeah.
That's right.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah. The week's off to a good start for sure.
Mm-hmm.
As the Cowboys come back from 21-0 down to beat and stun the defending Super Bowl champion Eagles 24-21. This has been the Cowboys Squad Show.